RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right, everybody, this is Tara Devlin. I hope you're hearing me out there in TV land. Don't even tell me. Don't even tell me. Okay, it looks like I'm going. It looks like I'm going on YouTube. That's good. I hope I'm going on Facebook. Facebook is not doing anything. All right, this sucks. I need to figure this out. My name is Tara Devlin. We meet here every Saturday evening on supposedly Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. We record from 7 to 8 p.m. on these venues, and then we are replayed on Progressive Voices and anytime on demand on the Progressive Voices app. And we are also on GDPR Revolution Radio. I don't know why this effing isn't doing it. Alright, I'm gonna have to try this again. Hold on, everybody. Sorry, on YouTube. Why isn't this working? You know, I hate technology. And this happened like a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I had it figured out. And it was figured out. Okay, it says that it's going, so why it's not recording is another story. I mean, every show, maybe it's going to be maybe it'll be a funny thing for, well, funny meaning funny annoying for the people who watch on Facebook or the people who listen on Progressive Voices, that every time I start the show, it starts out with, are we live? Are we recording? What are we doing? So I'm going to try to, I don't understand this. Effing Facebook. I'm just going to start the damn stream. I'm going to have to fix this. We will fix it in post. Ridiculous. People, ridiculous. Manual start. Apply. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going to start another stream on Facebook. You know what, Facebook? I hate you. I really do. I hate Facebook. Alright, whatever. Guys, thanks for bearing with me. Look, I'm going to just say again, my name is Tara Devlin. We meet here every Saturday evening from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern on supposedly Facebook Live. And then we are replayed Sunday on Progressive Voices or anytime on the Progressive Voices app. We're also available on GDPR Revolution Radio. By we, I mean me, I suppose. But it's really irritating why things don't work. So, all right, let me just get into it because YouTube is working. And I do encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube feed, because we got a notice from YouTube. They said that we are no longer going to be partners on YouTube because we don't have enough subscribers. So they changed the rules. We have a lot of views. We just don't have a lot of subscribers because we're a new channel. So we will get there eventually. But anyway, I'm so annoyed at this whole thing at Facebook. Why do I even bother? Maybe I should just do it on YouTube and screw Facebook, because it doesn't work, you know? Okay, thank you, Jerry. Facebook is working, he says. Very good. All right, guys. What a week. In fact, this week, what happened was I'm a little behind today because I came home, I did this early morning thing. I practice Buddhism. Could you imagine if I didn't practice? How stressed out and filled with anger and rage I would be. I practice really to keep calm. Keep calm and join the resistance. That's what I say. And I went, I was out very early. I woke up at 6 o'clock. I went out, came back. I sat on the couch for 5 minutes, or so I said, and I woke up an hour and a half later. I literally passed out. And I thought, this is just the new normal, frankly. I am exhausted. And I'm not complaining. I'm really not. Because I enjoy being active, and I enjoy, I do believe that this is it. I am a Buddhist, yes. I don't know what's going to happen. See, that's the other thing about religion. The thing I like about Buddhism is that I understand there's more here than meets the eye in the world. I would never be so arrogant to say I know it all. That I know that there's a man on a cloud making a list of who's naughty and who's nice, right? And everybody will be in utopia if we all knew our natural place. And don't worry, don't pester your betters. You'll get your reward in heaven, right? But that's what a limited little tiny God these people have. This tiny little thing that is just, he's such a petty God too. And he really is just a giant version of themselves that they project everything upon. But as far as Buddhism is concerned, I do know in general in the world, there's more here than meets the eye. There are so many layers to life. We have yet to discover these layers, right? Sort of like the same way that 100 years ago, whatever, we knew that we discovered X-rays and gamma rays and microwaves and whatnot. These were different layers to life that we just didn't have the instruments to measure, but didn't mean they weren't there. And that's how I feel about the world. There's such a big, giant world, and we don't even have the language to ask the questions, to know what questions to ask, because this thing is so immense, so vast, and that's really my spiritual belief in a nutshell. And I do believe that we are all connected. Yes, I see Bob, the great big bearded juvenile delinquent in the sky. It's true. If it's at least when you think of the Roman and the Greek gods, at least they had personalities. They had failings. They admitted to their failings. They had flaws. They were very much human in that regard, except superhuman. So, and they were a lot more fun, right? It's sort of like Trump. He's such an idiot, but he doesn't seem to know this. If the whole world knows it but him. And I guess he feels that as much as he can boast, about himself, that somehow we'll all finally catch on to just what a genius he is. And the thing, when he was talking the other day to the reporters about his, how he wants to be interviewed by Robert Mueller, and he brought up, well, what did Hillary go under oath? What would Hillary do? What would she do? Right? It's all, could you imagine a President Hillary Clinton who would bring up Donald Trump? Could you imagine what the right wing would do if we had President Hillary, as we should, because she won, she got more votes than the grifter squatting in the Oval Office. If this were a true democracy, we would have a President Hillary. I don't care what you think about her. And that's the whole thing. Why do I even have to qualify that? I don't, there's so much. You have to qualify. I voted for Bernie. I am a Bernie-crat, and I'm an FDR Democrat before there was a Bernie-crat. I believe that is the remedy for this government, this working class, and that is the remedy for the Democratic Party. If the Democratic Party wants to win, they have to truly embrace the right side of history. It's not even about their ideology. What's the ideology? It's democracy. It's the general welfare. It's promote the general welfare over the welfare of the corporate elite. It's we're in this together. That's what I think we should brand ourselves in general. You want to talk to these right-wingers in a language they understand. They're all about patriotism, right? That's patriotism, is leaving no one behind. There you go, in a nutshell. We don't leave anybody behind. I was in the military. Not that I was a great soldier or anything, or I'm not G.I. Jane or anything, but you didn't have to teach me to leave nobody behind. But that's what they did. In the military, we had training about how somebody had to play dead, and you had to bring them back. You don't leave anybody behind. And, I mean, that's in the fake wars I was in. So, yeah, when we had training. So that's how you train. That you don't leave anybody on a battlefield. And that's how I feel about these Republicans. When you're celebrating kicking millions of people off of healthcare, what are you doing? You're celebrating leaving people on a battlefield without health, with their lives. Their lives are at stake. You scums. How you call yourself a patriot? And they, with their stinking made in China American flag lapel pins. You're a patriot? But you're cheering that people don't have health care. You're cheering that people don't have access to education, don't have access to a living wage. How much money do you scums need in one lifetime? Wait till Jesus gets a hold of you. I heard that he's really down on that kind of greed. But not that I guess the Republicans, they have never heard this. I don't know. I know more about Jesus. I was raised by a nun, right? My mother was a nun before she was my mother. So it's sort of like being raised by wolves. So I was raised by a nun and a garbage man. Of course I'm a Buddhist lesbian with a podcast. What else? And a very left-wing. I mean, it's not. What is it? Is it left-wing? I consider it normal. It's a normal website. It's not left-wing. It's a website that is about the normal policies of normal people. Non-racist, non-selfish, non-greedy bastard, I don't know. It's like I can go on. That's really the truth. So, what was I going to say? The secret society. Now, if you needed any proof that Republicans are unfit to hold leadership positions in a modern nation, we have Exhibit 5050B, the secret society, the week of the secret society. I could not believe my eyes. I was like, I'm like, what am I watching? And it's not just that it's comical. It would be merely comical if it weren't so dangerous. If they weren't taking a page out of every authoritarian playbook, vilifying the other pillars of democracy, vilifying the Justice Department that keeps these bastards, these criminals, in line. What is the difference between them? Let's say if somebody is just a regular run-of-the-mill crook, saying, "Hey, it's the cops. The cops did it to me." What is the difference? There is no difference. These people are criminals on a global scale. And that's the only thing I could say about Trump, is that he is an epic con man. He is the king of the con men. If he wants to be the number one, he's the top, he's the greatest. He really is the king of the con men. But it's almost like the accidental con man, the Mr. Magoo kind of con man who stumbles into it because he's not really smart. He's not sitting around calculating these things. It's just he does not have a moral center. So he will say and do anything it takes to get him more money, more things, to fill up that emptiness that soulless black hole that he has that will never be filled. He's a sociopath. I'm not a shrink, but I've had a lot of therapy, and but I've also read a lot of books, and one of the books I read was called The Sociopath Next Door by Martha Stout. And it's a pretty well-known book, and it's very interesting. But I must admit, after I read it, I was looking around like, is that a sociopath? Like, everybody kind of seemed like a sociopath. Not everybody, but, I was like, they're a sociopath. But this guy is definitely a sociopath. Because that's the thing with the sociopath. I remember in the book that she spoke about that a sociopath, if you have a child that you suspect might be a sociopath, there's more sociopaths than you think. They're not necessarily killers. They're not, they're not people like Ted Bundy or whatever, although he is a sociopath or a psychopath, really. And I know that a lot of people say that Trump is a psychopath. He's technically a psychopath, but I guess they're in the same ballpark because he doesn't have the ability to put himself in other people's shoes. And that's one of the things that we've been given by nature to make us interdependent, because we are interdependent. That we look at other people and we feel their pain. We feel we have the ability to put ourselves in other people's shoes. It prevents us from acting like a dick, really, right? To put it mildly. But he doesn't have that. So one of the things that she said was, if you want to see that, if you suspect that your child is a sociopath, if, let's say, you walk into the kitchen and they have their hand in the cookie jar, and you say, oh, I caught you with your hand in the cookie jar, and they say, what are you talking about? My hand's not in the cookie jar, when it's in the cookie jar, right in front of your eyes. That is a sociopath. That's what she said, in the making. That because they think that they're so smart, that they are so superior than the rest of us, that all they have to do is say it, and we will believe it because we're dumb, and they're better than us. And that's Trump in a nutshell. He's a liar. He is a prolific liar, and he doesn't care. He will say one thing to one crowd, another thing to another crowd, and he'll say whatever he needs to say in the moment. He's a freaking liar. He is a grifter. And the thing about sociopaths is that they are often very troubled people as well, because they don't have that connection. The only thing that they can do, and a lot of sociopaths are also, they suffer from addictions and whatnot because they don't have that capacity to have that, a really full human experience. So they substitute. That's another thing I remember. And that's Trump too. There's never enough for him. How much is enough? And that's the thing with these these masters of the universe, so-called. How much is it? How much will be enough for you scumbags? I was thinking today about the Koch brothers, right? Like I do. I'm just walking around thinking about the Koch brothers, and there's an article on RDT Daily about the Koch brothers. Let me get it up here, and it says the Koch brothers are poised to gain an additional $1 billion a year from the GOP tax bill. So this is what they do. That's what think about this. We are in this world, a blip. Blink your eyes and it's over. It's such a small period of time, short period. I don't know what the proper word is. Life is so short, and that's what you're doing. That's what you do with your time. Accumulate shit, money. How much money do you need? While looking around on this globe and seeing the devastation that you're causing. That's even worse. I don't mind, people want to live in comfort. There's a certain amount of comfort, and they've done studies that you get to a point where it doesn't matter. You know, you could once you meet those basic needs, the rest is just greed, and it doesn't bring you any more happiness than your second billion won't bring you any happiness as your first billion, right? So you know, that's what I think. How much do you need? And when do we start classifying that kind of rapacious greed, really, as a sickness? Because that's what it is. Especially because it makes us sick. That's why. When you look around and you have one bastard, two, as in the case of the Koch brothers, why do two fat bastards need $1.4 billion more than they already have? Why? While people are struggling without health care, without education, without fucking food. And I don't want to curse, because I want this to be a family program. It's not really a family, you know. Family, PG-13. Not the toddlers. Let them have their innocence for a minute, right? But but we're supposed to be, well, with Trump, we're supposed to be like, oh, well, they're smart. They figured out a scam. They figured out how to siphon money from the rest of us. And as is the case in a lot of cases, especially with Trump and with this country moving forward, these people inherited their money. So give me $15 million, and I do a lot with it too. And but I wouldn't. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't be making the world a crappy place to live. But this isn't democracy though. So now today, what's his face? This other rapacious, greedy bastard, one of Trump's buddies, Wynn, whatever his name is, I don't know. Steve Wynn steps down as RNC finance chair amid sexual harassment allegations. The billionaire was accused of decades of sexual abuse in a bombshell Wall Street Journal report published on Friday, and he denies it. But of course he did it. We're all just his playthings. What would stop him? That's who they are. They need more. You're nothing to them. You go to work, you're there to serve them. So, and how did he make his money? In casinos. Because, what's the difference between running a casino and running a crack spot? Selling crack. It's a different form of addiction. You're separating people from their money. You're tickling that addictive brain. You're not adding... What are you adding to society? Nothing. You're exploiting people's weaknesses. You're not helping them. In fact, you're hurting them. So, I'm all for having a good time and whatnot, but don't tell me these bastards are some kind of geniuses. They just, maybe if my father left me millions of dollars too in a casino, I'd be making buku bucks too, like that. I don't know, I guess, but I'd probably find that a little bit of an empty existence and want to do something more with my life, right? Add something, add value, do something worthy, but I don't know, there's something wrong with them. So there is something fundamentally not right with right-wingers, and we know that. Like today when I posted my video, I posted a newsletter video every week, and I got a comment. Somebody commented, a scintillating right-winger and their scintillating comics. I think it was something like, F you, bitch. F you, liberal bitch. But they said it. F you, liberal bitch. And I deleted the person. I got him off the channel. I don't need that kind of abuse. But the point is, I was just like, if a right-winger ever had anything interesting to say, I think I might faint. That's their comment. But I did wonder, I have to say, that I would love to be a window into this person's world. I would love to see how they live. And the fact is, right-wingers, they all want the benefits of society. They and let me I will bet you my little apartment here that that this person at one time or another took advantage of the social safety net that liberals made possible. That this person, anything that of decency and value, that it was from a liberal initiative. That idiot, it's sort of like the Day in the Life of Joe Middle Class Republican, that famous essay that was, that I'm sure a lot of people have read it more than once, how Joe wakes up in the morning and he has his morning coffee, the water is doesn't give him diarrhea. That's not the exact way it goes, because of the water is clean because of that's some stupid liberal, right? Some liberal bitch, right? Fought for safety standards in drinking water, and on and on and on. And I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. So that's what it really confused me, why I was like, you liberal bitch. That's supposed to be a pejorative? Liberal. Of course I'm a liberal. I'm normal. I'm a normal human being. I'm emotionally stable and capable of functioning in a free democratic society that has people who aren't just like me. In fact, diversity doesn't scare me because I'm normal. In fact, I consider diversity kind of cool. I enjoy getting to know other cultures, getting to know people, getting to know their experiences. Every person, every human, and every animal, in my opinion, has value. We all have value. We are in this together. This thing that we're doing called life, for this brief moment, is connected. We're all in this together. So, I don't know. That's just normal to be liberal. If you're not a liberal, to me, and I wish somebody, maybe one day they'll prove me wrong. I don't know. I doubt it. But that all you have to do is scratch the surface of every Republican or right-winger, and there is a problem. Somehow there's a problem. They voted for Trump. Why? I don't know. There's some underlying issue that needs to be addressed. Like, for instance, today I was at my meeting in the morning, this Buddhist meeting, and there's not a lot of Trump supporters amongst the Buddhists, I have to say, but there are a couple, and it always kind of surprises me because I have different expectations. I think that people would be more enlightened somehow, but everybody's human, right? And I was talking to somebody who's a very nice person, and he said, "Oh, I voted for Trump," and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Well, I don't like any politician. They're all bad. They're all corrupt." But then he goes into, "But I don't really pay attention." So, and I didn't want to vote for Hillary. I didn't want her. See, that's the power of propaganda. So you have somebody he doesn't pay attention to politics. All he knows is that, oh, that Hillary Clinton. Oh, I don't want to vote for her. Lock her up. Whatever. Lock her up. She's Benghazi. Didn't she Benghazi or something? I don't know. And instead of being informed, he votes for this idiot. And I was like, why would you do that? And he's like, well, I thought that he would shake things up. Well, he certainly will. Now, unfortunately, we may not be able to restore the damage for generations once he's done shaking things up. If we're lucky enough to get it back. Because from the second he sat down in the Oval Office, in Barack Obama's Oval Office, in our Oval Office, in the Oval Office that people fought, bled, and died to entrust to us, that Democrats, that people who believed in democracy, who fought, not just during the revolution, how many hundreds of years of enlightenment thinking got us to the point where the people, we the people said, you know what? We don't need a king. We can do this without the intergenerational aristocracy. Why are we passing on, allowing these greedy nobles to have, to rule us? No, we can do this, we can promote the general welfare. Now, yes, we know the founding fathers were racist, slave owners, and misogynists. That's a given. And that's the problem with right-wingers. As we evolve as a human race, and more and more people got a seat at the table, that we opened up the franchise of democracy to really actualize the promise of our founding documents that were never fulfilled, right? But that's when they can't handle it. They freak out because, scratch the surface, ultimately underlying every Republican is some kind of issue. Whether they're racist, they're ignorant on some level, they are a closet case, right? They can't handle it. They can't handle they really need the arms of a big, strong man around them, but they're too scared. They're cowardly. That's why they hate other gay people who live authentic lives, because that's what it takes to live an authentic life. It takes courage. So and that's something they don't have. And there has been scientific studies on right-wingers that they have large amygdalas, which are the fear centers in the brain. So they're very fear-based. And so when you're fear-motivated, you will be attracted to a strong man, somebody who says, I'll do it. Don't worry about it. I got this. And all you got to do is just do what I say. Just shut up. Be loyal. Don't question. Because democracy takes involvement. So this person who I was talking to this morning, I was like, well, when you go to a financial planner, now they don't have to have your best interest at heart. That was the second executive order Trump signed. Why? I don't know. What? Because they need to steal as much as they can while they can. Because they can't sit with themselves for 2 seconds because they got a goddamn disease called greed. And, it would be great if everybody if it really did trickle down. I mean, that's the whole thing. This is what I say about Republicans, too. If as a normal person, me and you and the liberals watching and listening, as normal people, if it really did trickle down, if funneling all the money to the top, if giving all the wealth and power to the wealthy and powerful really did trickle down, we'd be all for it. We'd be like, more of that trickle down, please. But it doesn't work. And it's not because, why? It's not because an immigrant is coming. It's because it's by design. That's what they have done this to us by design. They're full of it. They are liars, as we know. Because ultimately the end game of this is the exact system the founders fought a revolution to escape. So they're still fighting the American Revolution, but they're on the wrong side. And they are the anti-democratic enemies from within. Anybody who says that the press is the enemy of the people is the enemy of the people. That's hands down. That's the enemy of the people. When you're talking about fake news, you're the enemy of this thing, of all those people who died to entrust this to us. And that's what it is. It's like a precious thing that they say, hey, here you go, a republic, if you can keep it. And what are we going to do? So I know what I'm doing. We have to, first of all, it's not just about marching in the streets, although that's awesome, and because it shows our solidarity. It shows that we are not alone. It motivates each other. It's an opportunity to get together and exchange ideas, exchange our contact information to keep each other motivated. You know, maybe if I'm down one day, you're up. You say, all right, come on, get up. We can do this. We're doing this together. When you're down and I'm up, I say, come on, let's go. We're in this together. You know, that's how we will survive and not just survive, thrive and get this thing back. But one of the things we have to do is ensure that we're registered to vote. And because I really believe, I mean, because they're kicking people off the voting rolls. That's what I'm saying. If you're not registered, I mean, you got to register. I assume most people who are listening and on this channel and on watching and whatnot are registered because you're involved and aware. So, but the fact is, Republicans are up to their tricks. They are kicking people off the voting roll. It's not a drill. They don't like democracy. They don't want you to vote. And if there's any way that they can stop you, they're going to do it. So we have to ensure that they remain, or that not remain, that they become a permanent minority party for the next, as far as the eye can see. For how many generations? Who knows? When they come back to us with a note from a shrink saying that they have resolved their issues, that they have finally accepted the error of their ways. It's sort of like in recovery. You know, you do your fourth step. You got to write down a list of all people you've harmed and be willing to make amends to them all. That's what they got to do. They got to do a searching and fearless moral inventory of themselves and come back to us with a note saying, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, and I believe in democracy now. Now it's fine to be, okay, they want to be a little conservative, great. There is a give and take. But there used to be a kind of common ground where we would meet and say, okay, we all believe in democracy. We just have different ideas how to have a strong and economically vibrant middle class. But there was no doubt about that right-wingers, as far, well, I'm talking about Eisenhower in particular now, but how Republicans, they didn't, Republicans were hostile to unions and whatnot. In fact, as we all know, in the Eisenhower's Republican Party, in the 1954 Republican platform, how they boasted about adding people to the Social Security rolls, expanding Social Security, and adding people to unions. That's the American way. Unions, there's nothing more democratic than a union. It's the strength in numbers. E pluribus unum, out of many one. Leave no one behind. We're in this together. What is more American than that? Not according to Trump now and the Republican Party. It's not just Trump. We always have to remember that. It's the Republican Party. We cannot let them get away with this Trump monstrosity that they inflicted on us, but they have to be branded with it forever. But, you know, Republicans, they don't believe in democracy. That's really the bottom line. And the sooner we all accept that, and that's why I was watching MSNBC today, and the thing that really was getting me angry, because they're talking about the State of the Union address. Now here we go again. Last year, Trump didn't shit his pants during the State of the Union, and he was presidential. Oh, did he turn the corner? Is this the new Trump? Now, finally, being a president is the office, the awe and majesty of the office of the presidency, finally making him into a human being? No. Just because somebody can read off a teleprompter for 15 minutes doesn't make them a president. I mean, we had what's her name? Coco the Ape knew 50 words, right? Sign language. She probably had a larger vocabulary than Trump, frankly. He's got the vocabulary of like an elementary school child, and nothing against elementary school, but it is elementary. Very this, very that, beautiful, a bill of love. I mean, I get numb listening to him. I feel numb. I feel my IQ hit the floor. It's dull. It's really the cure for insomnia too. I get very tired when I listen to it because it's mind-numbingly dumb, isn't it? He's such a dumbass. That it's so embarrassing as a normal person. As an American, I'm sorry, world. If you're out there, if Norway, if you're listening, man, I'm sorry. It really is embarrassing, isn't it? When you have this idiot going around the world, and the whole world is just evolving without us. Things don't stop because they're dragging us back. Now, don't ever think that it can't happen here, because it is happening here, right? It's not just fascism, but you think when I look at cause and effect, right? And that's one of the principles in Buddhism. Everything is cause and effect in your actions. If you're smoking a cigarette, that there's an effect in that cause that you're making. It may not manifest for years, but it's there, right? So that's why I always say, you put the hooks in the water. You want to be, whatever. You want a certain outcome, you take certain actions, right? But what was I going to say? See, what the hell was I saying? There was a point to that whole rant. The problem is I'm losing my mouse here, and there's so much technology getting in the way. But, all right, I forgot what I was going to say. Let me see if somebody can remind me. This is what happens on the show. Because, when I'm looking at my screen, there's like all these different things up here that I'm trying to read and keep going and keep me, inspired. Not me, everybody. It's not just me. But anyway, what was I going to say? I was talking about Trump and Twitler, and, well, Trump is Twitler, and let me see. The thing that really got me this week was the secret society and him bringing up the Hillary Clinton. It's not just it's not just Trump. And here's the problem: the secret society is society. That's the whole thing. There is no secret. Oh, there's an anti-Trump cabal in the FBI. There's an anti-Trump cabal in the human race, and there's more of us. So there's nothing secret about it. But the fact that Republicans would attack the pillars of democracy, the other institutions of government, is really, really alarming, beyond the pale. And for the mainstream media to give this a pass. Yes, they're talking about it. They're talking about it on MSNBC. I see, Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow talking about it, and talking about the dangers of this, and mocking Fox and discussing just what a danger that is. But where's the rest of the media in general? Why are they even going giving him a pass, saying, will he be presidential? This is what I'm watching on MSNBC today. They're saying, well, is this going to be, because Stephen Miller is writing Trump's State of the Union address. This Nazi. Stephen Miller's a Nazi. He doesn't just look like Goebbels. He has his ideology. This guy's a douchebag. We have record of the fact that he is a racist POS from high school. I mean, these aren't the, what's the word? The best and the bright. Like Trump says, they're not sending their best. Really? Well, I guess it takes one to know one, because who the hell is roaming around in our government? Nazis, racists, freaks. racists. Come on, man. We live in a country of 320 million diverse people. And somebody's ringing my bell. I'm not answering the bell. Hello? You see what I'm saying? I can't answer the bell. I'm very sorry. I'm doing a show. Anyway, I don't know who's at the bell. Who's in the bell? The show is like going off the rails. So, but for the mainstream media to just give it a pass. Meanwhile, what's going on is we have an anti-democratic authoritarian dictator that we know who is has infiltrated our democratic process. And while this whole Devin Nunes thing with this release the memo and whatnot, they said that there was 5,000 new accounts created on Twitter within a matter of days, and they all generated from Russia. So, and then you have Trump and the Republican Party, the leadership of the Republican Party, echoing the same sentiments that are on that the Russian bots and this new cyber war going on, that they're echoing each other's propaganda. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? What is happening? And so why wouldn't, in the midst of this, in this whole umbrella of what's going on, why are we even taking a second to discuss whether Trump is going to act like a president during the State of the Union? He's not a president. He's a traitor. He is a traitor. He is an anti-democratic, wannabe authoritarian puppet of a foreign dictator who has him on a string. This guy is so easily played. And Hillary was right. A man who can be baited with a tweet should not have their hands on the nuclear button. And that is the truth. So, but that's what drives me insane, because why would we even go wax and wane on this? Why isn't it just, I mean, maybe somebody can explain it to me, but okay, let's put that treason on the shelf for a second while he gives a speech? I don't know. And and speaking of the speech, the fact is, with Chuck Schumer and the making this, Chuck Schumer caved, making this deal with the Republicans. What deal? He was rolled again. But that's why Democrats are so irritatingly, spineless in a way. Because the dreamers they're on the line. So what have you done, really, except prolong the agony? They're still stressed out. We still have this. Oh, they pushed the goal 3 weeks, but you didn't do anything for them. So you allowed Trump to open the government, and wouldn't it have been so much better if Trump gave his State of the Union in the midst of a government shutdown? Because that's the optics that we needed. Trump is chaos. He can't govern. He's the worst, and he is not only that, he's a traitor. So why would you give him that luxury of somehow seeming just a little bit like he can get things done? I don't know, because he kept the lights on. He got the lights back on, and then within seconds, he was being mocked on Twitter by Twitler. But well, there you go, and that's a Democrat for you. Because I don't understand why Democrats don't have a spine. We are on the right side of history. There's nothing to be ashamed of. The problem is money in politics. If we got money out of politics, we would have more altruistic representatives, people who actually want to represent and not just suck on the government teat, and by that I mean like Paul Ryan. The days after they passed the GOP tax scam, he got a $500,000 donation. Why is this legal? Why is legal bribery happening in our country? And I mean, that's all Hitler had power legally. It's the same thing. You could make any law you want. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it democratic. And, I mean, that's America. You could wear your made in China American flag lapel pins, all day and all night. It doesn't mean that you're really working for the interests of America. And that's the whole thing with Trump, too. I was thinking, I don't even know when. It doesn't matter when. Every day I was thinking about, it's all I think about, really. Maybe that's why I passed out on the couch for an hour and a half. But that Trump he is a grifter, as we know, and that was his business model. He's not a successful businessman. He played a successful businessman on reality television, and he's a con man. And it's like, the con men used to come to town with their snake oil salesman, Dr. So-and-so. It was, it was a bottle of laudanum that would, of course it will cure you. It's pure opium. Your arm could be hanging off. So it's the cure. But Trump, he's sort of like one of those Nigerian, princes. What's the difference? We have half of America fell for this Nigerian 419 scam, they call it. They call up, they say, I'm a prince, I need your help, only you gotta help me, and I'll give you some of this money for allowing me to put my money in this bank or whatnot, but I just need $5,000. And it's the same thing. That's what Trump is. It's a scam. He wraps himself in the flag. It might as well be a Nigerian prince scam that these people have fallen for. And then what's the payoff? They'll get to have America be great, and they'll have no, and by that they mean no immigrants, no brown people, and everybody will know their place. That's the other thing, with a little bit more Jesus. But if only there was more Jesus, right? Like the real Jesus. This is the other thing I always think of. Why, if only Republicans were truly into Jesus, like they say, we wouldn't have such income disparity. We wouldn't have to, they wouldn't be celebrating kicking people off of health care. They wouldn't be celebrating funneling more money to the top. So, anyway. So, what was I going to say? So Trump is a malignant narcissist. We know that. He's a sociopath. And, let me see. I had something else on my list here. Oh, the other thing he was saying, I saw, this is the scam. It's part of the scam. I don't like rich people, he says. He likes carpenters and plumbers because that's just goes to show you. See, the thing is, Trump went in front of his crowd, his supporters, because he needs his narcissistic supply. That's part of his rapacious, emptiness that he has, that he needs to constantly fill with things, which is why his wife gives birth to a baby and he can't keep in his pants for a month. He has to go and have some porn star spank him with a copy of Forbes magazine with him on the cover, which is, could you imagine if Barack Obama did anything close to that? We had a dignified, a president we could be proud of, who loved his wife, you could tell, who loved his family, a true family man. Everything that Republicans claim they love, up from nothing, raised by a single mother, who rose up in this country on his own will and his intellect to become the highest executive in the land. And they hate that guy, and they love this grifter who was handed everything and did nothing with it. and bankrupted, just came up with one scam after another to separate dupes from their money. And when he couldn't get it from the dupes, he went to the other banksters. You know, that's what he did. He laundered money and he robbed banks, but he did it legally. He robbed that. He never invested his own money, even in his own campaign. That's the other thing. They said that Trump had his, what do you call it? His campaign. You know, that was his scam, that he was funding his own campaign. He wasn't funding his own campaign. In fact, there was a payment. I was reading that they were supposed to pay. I don't remember the whole details, but he didn't want to give. It was like $10 million that he was supposed to give, you know, but I thought he was funding his own campaign. But he wouldn't. It was in that Michael, that's what it was. It was in that Michael Wolff book. And they were saying that Trump was supposed to give $10 million from the campaign, from his own pocket. But they knew that because he's such a grifter, that he wouldn't do it. He would say that he would do it, and he would back out of it. So they had to go in with everything ready and make him sign it right there, because they knew that if they left it up to him, that the money would never be transferred. Because he's a effing greedy grifter. So, you know, he says he wants to hang out with the working class. He doesn't like rich people. That the problem is he doesn't like rich people, because rich people, the other people in his circle, these elites that hang out together who actually made money, maybe some of them did make money from nothing, you know, they came up from nothing. They're not all trust fund brats. Who knows? I don't know. But these people, maybe they're not as dumb as the idiots who stand around in the cold waiting to hear him do the hits, lock her up, and no collusion, and you know, me, you know, the greatest hits. And I don't think rich people will be standing around. These suckers would, though, for some reason. I don't know why. They're standing around, you know, waiting to be trickled on, I guess. Please, trickle on me. That's why he loves the, you know, the working class. He doesn't like the rich people because they don't give him the what do you call it? They don't give him the respect he feels he deserves, right? That he, you know, the great and powerful him, who sucks. He's horrible. He's never done a damn thing in his life for anybody else but himself. And he will leave this country as bankrupt as he left all his businesses. Morally, spiritually, intellectually, on every level, and literally. So he's not a nationalist. That's the other thing. He hates, you know, he talks about, oh, I'm a nationalist. I love America first. No, it's like a whore, you know. It's like a whore and a trick. That's what, like, sex workers have to do. They have to really put on a show like you're the best lover they ever had, but they just want to get the hell out of there. They need their, you know, it's a transaction. That's what he is. He wants to, you know, that's what the dupes want to hear. They want to hear America first. They want to hear lock her up. They want to hear, you know, I love. They want to see him hug the flag literally, because that's they're dupes, and that's what he's doing. If being a democratic socialist, or claiming he was a democratic socialist like Bernie, would make him somehow, you know, get him the money and the rapacious amounts of money that he wants, if somehow that would, you know, enable him, that's what he would do. He would change in an instant. His center is not America. It's not you. It's himself. So anyway, all right. I have like a minute left. I'm looking at the clock. Oh my God, this show. We had people at the door. I couldn't get up. I'm by myself here right now. So I don't know who the hell was knocking on the door. We had people at the door. The Facebook didn't work in the beginning, as usual. At least YouTube worked. And we're going to do it again next week. As, you know, crazy, annoying. Like I say, we do it anyway. We have technical difficulties, but we do it anyway. It's not going to be perfect. And maybe one day it will be a little more better. And anyway, like I say, every week, please keep coming back. We stick together and we win. We will win. So my name is Tara Devlin. I will see you guys next week. Thanks for bearing with me. Bye. And now I gotta shut everything down. I hope you enjoyed it. Alright, guys.